Released May 19th, 2009 on Anti Records. This is the Jason Lytle debut solo album, which was recorded and released after he'd relocated from Modesto to Montana. And this was recorded at his home studio called The Warbler. First things first, I recommend viewing the random song details video in which Jason offers some insight into each song as like promo material for this album. I'll link it below, so definitely go watch that because whatever he has to say about it is worth way more than anything I'll ever say. But nonetheless, I will strive to offer up my thoughts and feelings, and hopefully I won't be too redundant. This whole intro is so rad and full of anticipation. I love these get the fuck out of my way lyrics that seem more exhausted than pissed off. You can feel the tiredness but also the triumph, and then it blossoms into this really thrilling ta-da moment that feels like a grand, wholesome homecoming after getting beaten up by life. It's so joyous and comforting to see home on the horizon after an arduous journey. He's worked hard and now he's going to pass out and rest even harder. That line, take a day off, keep it to yourself, is really wise. Also worth noting is the writing and recording process for this song. Quick quote from Jason on that. I just remember waking up at 3:30 in the morning and I panicked. I thought the album was done and I realized I didn't have a suitable opening track. So within the next 8 hours, I recorded this entirely from the beginning to end. It's pretty much about heading out into the great and narrowly unknown, getting up to who knows what kind of trouble, and eventually, gratefully limping back home. Mission accomplished. For the guy in the song and the guy who wrote the song. I really love knowing that this was the last song written for this album. And last thing, the music video really makes me laugh. It's very special. There is a crazy amount of warmth coming from the guitar. Like, what the fuck? I think you really nailed it with this one. It's so gentle and romantic and adventurous. And we have one character talking to another character. It seems like they're really struggling to get out of this gnarly environment. Even though they're in a precarious spot, the narrating character offers their hand as support and a reminder that they have each other regardless of whatever else is going on. I love how tender the verses are, and the lyrics strike a good balance of being poetic but still like human and conversational. And the chorus is so dramatic and bright and jubilant. I also really like the video that goes along with this song. I love this guitar part. It's a cool, clever part, but there's also almost something dog-like about how it sounds. Like, it's like enthusiastic and unassuming and sweet and feels dependable and excited. I don't know. The first time I heard this song, I was so taken with the lyrics and the sentiment that I was kind of only focusing on that. But the more I listened to it, the more I was really taken with the music and all the fun shifts and how it builds. By the end, it gets pretty epic. My favorite part is that echoey instrumental part with the ahs. It feels like crawling inside of a happy memory with your pet. It's such a unique premise. The main character here has been caught thinking about his dog, who is sadly no longer with us, but he is defiant to any chastising because he knows he's pure of heart in his reminiscing. But this song to me is a nice reminder that mourning doesn't always have to be a total bummer. You're allowed to relive happy memories and just feel happy. I think that's what our pets would have wanted for us anyways. This song is so beautiful, but has this eerie, perilous, doomed feeling, almost like walking on a tightrope or being stuck on a ledge of a mountain. But our hero in this vignette suspected the possibility of not going in the right direction, but in this moment they've reached this heavy epiphany that, yeah, this is not the right way to go. It's sometimes really tough to admit or to even know when you're lost and need to find a new direction. If you're lucky enough to receive like a wake-up call, you gotta answer the call. But sometimes people get way lost and it's really tough to find your way back. It's frustrating to be in that situation, but it's even more frustrating to see someone you care about be lost. The music video for this one is unsettling, but really cool and really well shot. This one's pretty magical and was inspired by the book What is the What, which is a really great read and has some harrowing, incredible anecdotes of extreme survival situations and triumph of the human spirit in like the most dire circumstances. The kids and the adults in these stories go through absolute hell and have to think really quickly or have a lot of endurance or take giant leaps of faith in order to stay alive. So I like this song highlighting the idea of like being an inch from death but harnessing hope wherever you can find it to stoke your inner strength so you can keep fighting and not give up, even if it really seems like it's all over. I think the music does a good job of capturing all of that. It has this like miraculous glowing feeling of like getting yourself up after being completely depleted and by the grace of God finding the will to continue. And random fun fact, a lot of that book takes place like 15 minutes away from here. Anyways. This song is really fun. It sounds incredible. And who doesn't love the weekend? Just pure exuberance for that window of time where people feel free to go have fun and hang out, or not, and just do whatever. I was born on a Friday, so I was fucking born ready for the weekend. And another fun fact, you can listen to the song and know that's how long it takes to wash a car. I can't decide which one makes me laugh more, the video or the live performance on the stationary bike. If I had to take a wild guess, I think the title here is a reference to Beethoven, which, if I'm correct, that song is similarly shrouded in mystery. But here we have a haunting, mostly instrumental, that feels dark but still full of tenderness. The feelings are so intense and devastating. All we get is this one phrase in which this person seems eager to forget something that happened. For a song with not so many words, it is packed with emotion, and the lack of lyrics, in my opinion, makes it all the more painful. At first, I was going to, in the spirit of this song, not talk about who this song is about, but it has been disclosed in a few interviews that it is, in fact, about Elliot Smith. So if you didn't know, Grandaddy and Elliot Smith toured together in the year 2000. And I'm going to link my favorite episode from the It's Simple, It's Dumb podcast if you want to hear more about that tour. So I decided, rather than dwelling on the tragedy of Elliot not being around, that people are very much still mourning to this day, I wanted to take the time to talk about my love for Elliot Smith and his music. So right when I really started my exploration of music back in like 2003-ish, of like stuff that was beyond the radio and MTV and blah blah blah, Elliot Smith was right there in the very, very beginning for me. My favorite Elliot Smith song has been, and I think always will be, Pretty Ugly Before. That song I heard when I was 14, and it tore my head off. Like, truly changed my life. I know people throw that term around, but I didn't know a song could make me feel that much. Do you remember in iTunes when you could see the count for how many times you listened to a song or an artist? For a time, I could like measure that he was absolutely the artist I was listening to the most, and I had some of his CDs that I recently got reunited with. There are tons of examples of Elliot's sense of humor out there, but one of my personal favorites, I know illegal downloading is bad, but one thing I kind of miss about it was downloading mysterious bootlegs that felt like little digital treasures, and you'd get to hear banter from live shows and stuff. And as a teen, I had one random recording of Elliot talking about it was him talking about the Eagles, the song Take It Easy, and he's like shuddering at the lyrics.
I feel like Glenn Fry. I couldn't. I don't know why. I think it's because of this thing that. Well, I'm a running down the road, What? Running down the road, trying to loosen my load? What the fuck is that about? I don't want to know, man. Glenn Fry loosening his load? Ooh. Ooh.
And I would listen to it over and over and think, damn, this guy's funny. Of course, his music entranced people, but as brooding as he was also like affable and like a really good sport to his audience, which, to bring it back to the song, does make that line, I wish I could laugh now, hit harder, because he really did have a good sense of humor. But man, that dude left us with so much beauty. Even though I of course wish he was still here, it does warm my heart that so many people still care about him and his music. Here we happen upon a character who is reflecting on being alone, and the way I perceive it, they're frustrated about the way they're feeling, and almost trying to talk themselves out of it, but the feelings are too strong. I'm not even gonna lie, this song makes me cry most times I listen to it. Like right at that one instrumental part that feels like the moment when you just start feeling tears forming in your face muscles and then they just go. Fuck. Oh my God. And I also kind of have to disassociate on the line, bought you something nice, got you something warm part, because it's just too much for me. I'm very much a gift giver, not in a flashy way, just I like to be thoughtful and personable or personal. Something about that line just wrecks me. So yeah, it feels like this character is trying to be stoic, but at the same time, they're still feeling lonesome and vulnerable. I do really love these memento mori kind of songs. Here we start with a fond memory, but unaware that it would be the last time you saw a friend who passed away. And they left unexpectedly and way too soon. I had a buddy pass away just a couple months ago. Super unexpected. He's like a couple years younger than me. And I had that horrible moment where after I knew he was gone and I grieved, and a few weeks later something happened that made me think of him, and I had that knee jerk to text him about it, and for that split second I like forgot he was gone. Treasure your friends and loved ones, because once they're gone they can't hang out anymore and it fucking sucks. At any rate, at the end of this song we conclude with the phrase "so long," like saying goodbye, but to me so long also is the feeling of their absence. There's something so majestic and nostalgic about the music. It feels like it's from a way earlier time than 2009. Almost like an intro to a fairy tale or something. It's somber, but it's still uplifting. I love the drum roll at the beginning. The lyrics are few but mighty and are about observing someone zooming around a canyon, but also acknowledging feeling overwhelmed by imagining this. This song is so stunning. I would love to see it performed live with like a full orchestra with like French horns and strings and stuff. That would be cool. Someone make that happen. But it paints this grand, gorgeous picture. Also, the demo for this song, the vocals on that are so good. You can really hear them go all the way up the canyon walls. So I'll link that below. These are some heavy, pensive, but really beautiful lyrics. Even the wind feels sad, and the world it moves through feels like it doesn't make any sense. But my big takeaway for this song is being mindful of what one puts out into the universe. Even when the world around us seems cold and broken, our minds are powerful, so you gotta be aware of what you put back out there, because it matters. We can get stuck in unproductive or destructive patterns, so this song feels like a declaration of like, despite whatever bleak circumstance you found yourself in, to commit yourself to the forces of good and putting faith into that decision for like the long haul. There's no guarantees in anything in life, but I do also believe making a choice like that will have a positive impact for yourself or for others in ways that one isn't even capable of imagining. It's a beautiful note to end on. So I actually think this is a masterpiece. I really like listening to it from beginning to end, all in one sitting. Kind of feels like one long thought or movement, especially the second half of the album. And I do feel like the solo stuff has a clear deviation from the Grandaddy stuff. There's less hyper digital sounds, and it feels more organic or rustic. I think all these songs, yes, even the ones on piano, would sound great around a campfire. Also want to take a minute to reflect on death is a big theme on this album, and it's not wallowing in despair. It's channeled more into expressing gratitude for the ones we lost in really sincere, heartfelt ways. Perseverance is another theme, I think, or like how to find the will to keep on keeping on when everything feels totally fucked up. In very creative ways, this album celebrates life in the wake of death, or, if you like, feels like a love letter from... Yeah, it's really cool and really beautiful, so go check it out if you haven't. If you have, comment below and tell me what you love about this album. As always, thank you so much for watching, listening, being. I'll see you next time. I didn't forget about the Weather Girl, but I decided I'm gonna do a whole episode that I'm gonna call Strays and cover a bunch of songs like Clear Your History and Coyote Condo that don't technically live on an album but still deserve some love. But that's gonna be in like a lot of months. Okay, I love you, bye!
Grandaddy had the great honor of doing a tour with Elliott and his band.
Great.
And it was one of the best tours we ever had. And it was just, a lot of it was, you know, like-minded. It just felt really good. You know, sometimes you get on these tours and you're just like, oh God, this is going to take a long time. And it was just one of those ones you didn't want to end, you know? But we used to do this song, and it's kind of untypical for the big headliner to come out before he becomes the big headliner. But he was insistent often to come out on the song and sing this high part, which is why we ended up wanting to do this song, because apparently he liked the song and he actually liked our band, which was super thrilling to us. So that's the reason for this one.